And welcome back to Newsmax Now. We want to welcome in Newsmax's chief Washington correspondent, John Gizzi, who's on the ground in Iowa today. I'm sure it's freezing out there.
It certainly is. You never saw me wear a sweater before, did you?
That's right, we haven't. John, do you think last night's Fox debate will play a major factor into the Iowa caucus?
Remember, the Iowa caucus is 3 days away, and as James Baker, our former Secretary of State, once said, overnight is an eternity in politics. There's a lot going on the ground here in the Hawkeye State. Later this evening, Mike Huckabee will have a massive rally with evangelicals. He's not giving up. I think that when people show up for the caucuses, sit through the process in living rooms and school auditoriums, the debate will be relatively meaningless at that point.
Really? Okay, so you're there, though. You're talking to people. What's kind of the reaction that you're getting to last night's debate?
Well, last night's debate, it all depends on who one talks to, Miranda. If you're a Donald Trump supporter, he was almost heroic in the sense that he defied the titans of Fox News. He held his own rally with cameo appearances from Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum, and it was far more interesting than the other candidates who were left on the stage in Des Moines.
Did you talk to anybody whose mind was changed following that debate?
No, I haven't. And in fact, I've yet met very few uncommitted voters who will participate in the caucuses Monday night. Let me tell you, Miranda, I've been covering the Iowa caucuses for a long time, more years than I care to remember. And the fact is, if you're not saying who you're backing now, you're either keeping a secret or you're not going to participate.
Do you think that was part of Trump's plan all along, that he probably knew nothing was going to change and he had nothing to lose and everything to gain by not participating in the debate?
Exactly. He's a risk taker. That's why he's so successful. So this is just one more risk in a career of risk taking that's been quite successful for him.
Anything different about, we know we've been talking about this election cycle being different from all other election cycles, but anything different? You mentioned you've covered the caucuses for quite some time now. Anything different this year that you'd like to point out?
Yes. The number that is going to be showing up at the Iowa caucuses will exceed that in 2008 and 2012, and it may be a modern record. Let me tell you one thing. I discussed this with a former county chairman of the Republican Party from Polk County. That includes Des Moines. In 2008, the smart money had it that Mitt Romney was going to win the caucuses easily. Mike Huckabee won the caucuses easily. In 2012, polls showed Rick Santorum with 5% of the caucus vote. Guess what? He finally won, although it took 3 weeks to count the votes. He won by 35 votes, I believe. Iowans are historically unpredictable, keep to themselves, and like surprises. If this is an upset that no one saw, it'll be the trifecta for Iowans surprising the nation in Republican caucuses.
I want to go to the Democratic side in just a minute, but I want to ask you, because you said there's going to be a lot more people. What do you think is fueling that?
I can tell you this from the people that I've been talking to today in Des Moines and in suburbs such as Clive and Indianola. One is distaste for professional politicians, hence the following for Trump and to a lesser degree Ted Cruz. He is a U.S. Senator. Second, it's also values. Values voters may not be a factor in some parts of the country. They certainly are in Iowa. 60% of the participants on Monday are expected to be evangelical Christians. And it's excitement about a race. How many races are there for a nomination of either party that attracts so many fine candidates? Whatever you think of them, it's an all-star team.
I want to ask you real quickly, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, neck and neck. What are you hearing from voters there?
Casey Stengel, the great baseball manager and player, once said, never make predictions about the future. I'm not to predict, but I don't think I will be shocked and talking about eating my words and other things if Bernie Sanders pulls off an upset on the Democratic side. Democrats in Iowa are historically to the left of the National Party. That's how Barack Obama beat Hillary Clinton. So it would not surprise me if the burn was felt out in frozen Iowa and he pulled an upset.
Well, the race is definitely heating up with him in it. John Gizzi, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll hear plenty more from you Monday, the big day.
I'm looking forward to it.
Coming up next, you've heard the headlines of the day. Now prepare for the punchlines. We have the best jokes from the late night comedians coming up next. Plus, there is still time for you to weigh in. We always want to hear from you. Did you watch last night's debate, or did you watch the Trump rally, or maybe a little bit of both? What were some of your favorite highlights or perhaps lowlights? You can tweet us at Newsmax Now or leave us a comment on our Facebook page. We'll be right back.